Hiya folks, it's Transline That, and welcome back to my channel. You'll forgive me for the change of venue as well as the subpar lighting, just because I'm currently sorting out my wardrobe, which is near where I always film, and it's a bit of a mess right now, and I'd rather not let my audiences see that, so we're going to film here for a little bit until that is sorted out. This video has been a long time coming, and the reason why this video has been a long time coming is I wrote this script and was preparing a bunch of stuff for Trans Day of Visibility, but as you've all know, Trans Day of Visibility is finished. It's already happened, and I'm a little bit upset at myself for not uploading it in time. The little minor explanation to everyone is I had law school final exams. That was the season where everyone was beginning to do their revision. A bunch of my coursework had been due at that time, and it was really, really difficult for me to put time aside to film and, you know, do things and projects that were mine. I had to do things for my education. That's what's happened. I'm here now to vlog and talk about Trans Day of Visibility, but more specifically, I think to make this not as dated just for Trans Day of Visibility, for the most part, I want to talk about visibility, just in general. This year is the first year I have been fully out during Trans Day of Visibility. I have made posts before on Trans Day of Visibility, but usually those social media posts had my parents were not involved. My family was carefully curated out of that part of my life. And this year's the first year that isn't the case. It's the first year I talked about it on Facebook. It's the first year I talked about it openly on Instagram. And my family were very, very supportive. Even my brother, who I think is the greatest trans ally to ever exist, because he's amazing. He's been so amazing throughout this process. He made a post for me talking about Trans Day Visibility and understanding that he's proud to have me as his brother, his trans brother. So for the most part, Trans Day of Visibility 2019 was a victory for me personally, because I had been closeted as a trans person for about 21 years of my life up to this point, and I only just come out in December. So for me, it was finally a time for me to show not just my family, my extended family, and to the world at large that I was visible, that I was proud, and that I was a trans guy. And to my family, I was their trans son. And that was really, really important, and my family have been very, very supportive in me being visible. The fact that it's a victory for me could be a beacon of hope for other trans POC, especially Indians in Malaysia, or especially Malaysians, that you can exist as trans. You're not just imagining this. It was also a little wake-up call to the people who knew me before by my dead name and did not know of my transness. It's a wake-up call for my high school friends, because here I am, a trans guy, out and visible, and a lot of them, after Trans Day Visibility, decided to message me one by one, talking about how amazing it is that how courageous I am and stuff like that. And I appreciated their sentiments. Like, queerness in Malaysia has been a hot topic recently, and there's been a lot of pushback for us personally. So I think for them, seeing a fellow Malaysian be visible was something to be admired. Again, for the most part, I found it so heartwarming to see so many trans people come out and be really visible during Trans Day of Visibility. It was so nice to just see people of different backgrounds and different intersections of identity, to see all the trans people being visible. We got to see how proud they are of themselves, of being visible, them as 100% authentically themselves. We also got to see folks who have progressed in their transition medically. You know, we've seen folks who have been X months on testosterone or X months on estrogen. We see folks who have just been post-op who are now posting pictures and talking about how proud they are that they've come this far and how proud they are to finally be visible and to be just authentically themselves. And for me, it was also especially heartwarming to see a lot more trans POC posting their visibility and talking about that intersection of their identity, about being a person of color and being trans, and talking about the difficulties of being visible when you are in those intersections of identity. This video, I did want to talk about visibility in the wider context. And speaking about visibility in the wider context also requires me to understand and for me to communicate to everyone that visibility is a double-edged sword. It is incredible to see people being proud of who they are, showing themselves off as proud and authentically themselves. We also get to be visible for the people who are not out, the people who are unable to be out, where it's not safe for them to be out, where it would jeopardize their livelihoods for them to be out, or if their families don't understand. It was important if they are able to connect to us through a social media hashtag, through Trans Day of Visibility, that they were able to be represented, especially those who are in the various different intersections of identity, especially for people of color, especially for disabled people, especially for non-binary, genderqueer, and gender non-conforming folks. It was so important for them to do that, and that's why visibility matters. However, disability is also very dangerous. When you're visible, it can also put a target on your back, especially the folks who wish to stereotype us, know what we look like, and aim to harm us. It's also important to note that visibility is often imputed on marginalized groups, especially trans women of color. We've seen news article after news article of trans women being murdered. We hear of queer people, lesbians being attacked on trains, on public transport. Visibility is a double-edged sword. It is very difficult for folks to put that aside and be proud of who they are, because the world is a dangerous place and people are looking for reasons to put a mark on our back and use us as and target us and harm us. And I really want to hammer home that I'm able to be visible because I have support systems, because I feel relatively safe where I am, and I'm able to do all these things and ensure my safety. But not everyone is able to do that. Demanding visibility from other people, demanding people to be out, isn't the right way forward. It would be nice for folks to be able to just be authentically themselves, for them to be able to live and be authentically who they are. But the fact of the matter is, for a lot of us, it's not safe. For a lot of us, visibility is imputed upon us. For a lot of us, being visible puts a target on our back. And that is okay. That is absolutely okay. You don't have to come out. You don't have to be visible. It's going to be okay. So initially, when I was planning this for Trans Day of Visibility, I wanted to put a little thing at the end about calling this time a time for compassion and reflection. It may be off season, but it is Pride. It's Pride season now. And there's a lot of discourse online about validity of identities and gatekeeping, and that is all stuff for another video. I promise you, I will actually upload one talking about gatekeeping and stuff like that. But I think of all the times to be having a moment for compassion and reflection, maybe Pride season is the best time for us to do that. I'm calling a bunch of folks during this time of compassion and reflection, for those who feel safe to do so, be proud, be visible, and be kind to everyone around you. And only do so, only be visible if you know that you're going to be safe. You are not pressured at all to be visible if you do not want to, especially this Pride season. I understand that going to Pride is a very, very important thing, but if you think it is going to be dangerous for you, please be careful. Go with a friend. Please take care of yourselves and be safe out this Pride season. It is a very, very difficult time for us in the queer community, especially with the polarization and the political climate that we are in currently. I also want us to take the time to reflect on the institutions of privilege. I want us to think about and reflect on how folks are able to be more visible than others. How is that related to privilege? How is that related to the privilege of safety? To us to think about that and reflect on those institutions of power that ensure the marginalization of queer identities, of POC, of disabled folks. I want us to think about that. I want us to think about how visibility aids in the education around marginalized identities, as well as puts a target on these folks' back. It's a good thing to reflect on. Being safe is important too. And I want to hammer that home for those who are wondering why folks aren't coming out fast enough. They can come out whenever they want. They can be visible whenever they want. Only you know when the best time is to come out and be visible. And trust in that instinct. It is okay. It is okay to trust in that. And know that there are folks out here who will support you. On that note, I want to remind everyone that the world is bigger, wider, more knowledgeable than you are. There are so many different experiences, so many different narratives and stories out there. There's so many different people with vastly different backgrounds who don't have the same background as you do. And that affects their visibility. So understand that what's happening in your country is not happening in everywhere else's in everyone else's country. Understand that sometimes you don't know enough. And that's okay. It's okay to not know enough. That's why we learn. We're human beings. We grow and we learn. And I want to hammer home regarding visibility that just because I'm able to be visible as a Malaysian Indian, doesn't mean other Malaysian Indians who are also trans have that luxury of doing the same thing. Because I'm in another country that actually has some protections. Not all, but some. And that doesn't exist in the country I'm from. And it's important for us to remember that. Thank you folks so much for watching this video. By the way, TransLionDad has a Discord now, so please feel free to fill out the Google Doc down below so that I can add you to the Discord group. Secondly, I've also opened a Ko-fi page. If you wish to support me further, please go check out the Ko-fi page. And finally, I want to talk about the next few vlogs and the next few videos that I want to put out. I still have my Los Angeles vlog that's in editing right now that I want to release soon. I also have 2 videos about current events. I probably might throw those out sooner because we are currently talking about it. It is a video talking about the IAFF's ruling on Casta Semenya, and I also want to talk about my own experiences as an immigrant navigating my life right now, just as a personal vlog. And those are the videos that are upcoming. Thank you all again so much for watching this video. I will promise to be more regular with my uploads, and I hope you all have a fantastic day ahead of you. And remember, TransLionDad has got your back. See you later.